Welcome back to our regular board meeting for March 10. It's now 6:35. Yes. Item E, reconvene to open session. It is now 6:35, and we apologize for the delay. Item F, announcements of actions taken in closed session. Maria?
In closed session, on a motion by trustee Aguilar and a second by trustee Calderon Jr. Ciro?
Yes.
On trustee Ciro Calderon, the board voted to accept the resignation of employee number 168426 and ratify the superintendent's acceptance of his resignation as effective upon the conclusion of his current contract, being the end of the current 2015-16 school year. And the board voted to accept the resignation of Mr. Joseph Trabuco. On a roll call vote, it was Mr. Calderon Sr., yes, Ms. Real, yes, Mr. Ciro Calderon, yes, Ms. Norma Aguilar, yes, and Mr. Eric Ortega, no. And today in closed session, the board took action to accept his resignation.
Thank you, Maria. That was item G. Item F, announcement of actions taken in closed session. Item G, comments from the public. The board will take any and all comments from the public related to an item on the agenda or any other item of district business that is not on the agenda. That's, yeah. Okay. And we are going to change a little bit the format of our meeting. Instead of doing comments from the public right now, given the fact that we have over 10 requests for public comments, we are going to move ahead and do presentations and awards first. So that will be item H. So, Maria?
We're going to start with our student representatives, and we have Ms. Ruth Ruiz from Aurora High School.
Good afternoon and welcome to Cesar Chavez Elementary. I am Abril Reyes. I am replacing Ruth tonight, and I am representing Aurora High School. During this month of March, we have a considerable amount of activities. The activities will consist of a blood drive on March 11th and ASVAB testing on March 16th. The next day, the 17th, our open house will be held, and we will serve nachos to the parents that attend. On the same day is St. Patrick's Day. We will be wearing green, and we will also have a presentation from Go the Distance at the SDSU auditorium. Finally, we will be hosting our first ever Eagle Olympics from the 21st to the 23rd. 21st will consist of the trivia crack on the 22nd CBP California border presentation. Finally, the 23rd will consist of various activities we have planned for our students. The activities will be baton race, sack race, tug of war, ice cream eating contest, pieing the teachers in the face, and also a water balloon toss. Thank you very much for your attention. I am Abril Reyes representing Aurora High School.
So for Calexico High School, Iran Martinez.
Good afternoon, students, parents, and board members. I'm Raul Gutierrez, and I'm here replacing Iran Martinez, and I'm the Calexico ASB president. And I'm here to inform you about what we've been up to. This month, we had our Bulldog Idol round 1, and it was a success. We had 7 students compete in lunch, and 3 of them moved on to the final round. It was a great way for the students to show off their talents. After that, we had our second blood drive of the year. Unfortunately, we had to move our blood drive to Godfrey Gym, which is much smaller, and due to restrictions from the San Diego Blood Bank to protect against the Zika virus, we had students who couldn't donate. None of our students had the virus, but for precautionary reasons, the San Diego Blood Bank did not allow people to donate blood if they have been in Mexico within the previous 30 days. Nonetheless, we were able to overcome these obstacles and still had 125 units of blood donated. After our blood drive, we prepared for our annual High School Madness. We had tryouts and lunch on who will play the games, and we had our cheerleaders and drumline practicing on their own time. At Madness, we had our cheerleaders had an incredible performance, and our drumline put on a show. We were able to place third and got the $100 reward. Currently, we are getting ready for our Relay for Life event, which is this Saturday, 10 a.m. at Crummett Park. You are all welcome to come and show your support. We also have our Bulldog Idol Round 2 and Winter Sports Banquet next on our agenda. Thank you all for your time and your support.
For the 9th grade campus at Calexico High School, Gabriel Aguilar.
Good evening, board members, teachers, parents, and fellow students. During the month of February, ASB leadership held a showing at our winter homecoming video skit at the Tesada Gym on the 9th. We had great amounts of participation and loud laughs from the crowd as we aired bloopers. Also, in the last week of February, ASB leadership announced and encouraged students to show their school spirit by donating to the Pasta for Pennies organization, which aids children with leukemia and lymphoma. Lastly, spring sports has begun for the following: softball, baseball, track and field, and soon-to-be triathlon club, which consists of running, swimming, and cycling. We wish all athletes good luck. Thank you for your time and consideration. Have a good night.
For Enrique Camarena, Julissa Ceseña.
Good afternoon, board members, administrators, teachers, parents, and fellow students. I'm Monique Carrasco, here in place of Julissa Ceseña. At Enrique Camarena, we held our annual parent picnic on Friday during the week of our spring book fair. Parents joined students on campus for lunch and an opportunity to shop for books. It was a huge success with a total of 375 parents attending. This Saturday, our school will be participating in Relay for Life, and all Firebirds are invited to walk for the cause. Next week, we will be hosting an anti-bullying spirit week and inviting all students to participate in a variety of activities. The math department will be sponsoring a noon activity for Pi Day, and all students and staff members are encouraged to celebrate St. Patrick's Day by wearing green on Thursday. We also invite all parents and students to our spring open house on Tuesday to visit classrooms and club booths selling a few treats. Thank you and have a great night.
And for Willie Moreno, we have Johnny Valenzuela.
Good evening, parents, board members, students. Johnny couldn't be with us today, so there it is. Okay, March is a short month for us, but it is jam-packed with activity at Willie Moreno. We begin with this Friday. We will be having our very next Aztec Parent Picnic. Parents are invited to come spend an hour with their children, bring food, and interact on some fun activities that our ASB is hosting. During the event, we will also have our first annual lip sync battle where students get to show off their skills lip syncing to a song, and a winner will be picked by parents at the end of the day. On March 14th, our students will be celebrating Pi Day. Our math department has hosted this for the last couple of years. Teachers and Us administrators have volunteered to put our faces in this wall. Students will be asked a math question. If they answer correctly, they get to throw a pie at their teachers. It's a fun event, and we encourage our board members to come out and check it out and maybe participate. Our ASB has hosted a Spirit Week all this week. Students are encouraged to participate on themed days. Tomorrow is the last day of our Spirit Week, culminating in our lip sync battle. And those are all the events that we have for the month. Thank you.
So now we're going to start with the Students of the Month recognition. We'll start in reverse, Mr. Velez. So for Willie Moreno, we have Melanie Guillen.
Okay, Willie Moreno's District Student of the Month is Melanie Amador Guillen. Melanie is the only child of Roberta Carolina Guillen Ojeda. Melanie is a regular teenager who enjoys listening to pop music and eating enchiladas and spaghetti. Her favorite colors are purple and blue. In school, Melanie's favorite class is mathematics with Mr. Urrutia. Melanie's role model is her Aunt Victoria. Her goals for the future include graduating from a great school such as Stanford or Harvard, visiting the cities of Paris and Amsterdam, having a job she loves, and buying herself a red Camaro. Melanie isn't sure what she'd like to be when she grows up, but being a vet or a designer interests her greatly. Whatever your path is, the Aztecs believe in you, Melanie. Congratulations.
Vidal Castañeda.
Vidal Castañeda.
And for the other student for Willie Moreno is Vidal Castañeda.
Our second student of the month is Vidal Castañeda. Vidal is the son of Mari and Vidal Castañeda, and he has one sister, Isabella. Vidal's favorite class is mathematics. Some of his other favorite things are the color red, tacos, carne asada, and a song called Good to Be Alive. His dream car is a Chevrolet Silverado, and in the future he'd like to visit Madrid and Germany. His role models are his family members. Vidal hopes to maintain his 4.0 because he aspires to attend Stanford University in Palo Alto and one day become a surgeon. The Aztecs know you can do it. Keep reaching for the stars. Congratulations.
We can have the student rep from Enrique Camarena, Julissa. And the first student to be recognized from Enrique Camarena is Melanie Navarrete.
Melanie Navarrete is an 8th grader. She's the daughter of Lara and Jose Navarrete. She loves doing sports, especially softball. Her favorite subject in school is math. When she graduates, she would like to go to a good university, and after that, she would like to get a job that she really enjoys doing. She would like to thank both her mom and dad for pushing her to do her best, staying up at night until she finishes her homework, and for believing in her.
Second student to be recognized from Enrique Camarena this evening is Oscar J. Garzón de los Reyes.
Oscar Garzón is in 8th grade. He is the son of Oscar and Diana Garzón. His hobbies are computer games, basketball, soccer, dodgeball, volleyball, and card games. His favorite subject is math. When he graduates, he would like to go to the engineer software and hardware program in the UCSD. He would like to thank all his 7th grade and 8th grade teachers and his mom. All of them have been essential in his growth and personal development, and they inspire him to be a better person every day.
Gabriel Aguilar. And the first student to be recognized from the 9th grade campus this evening, Paola Corona.
Paola's parents are Marina Corona and Herman Corona. Her favorite subject at the 9th grade campus is English and literature because it's the most interesting. Paola plans on attending Harvard University since she has explored the campus before and enjoyed the atmosphere. She plans on majoring in the field of psychology because the human behavior catches her eye. If Paola could change something in this world, it would be the financial benefits women receive compared to men. Equals should be in every organization and company. Congratulations, Paola.
And from Calexico's 9th grade campus, Jose M. Gonzalez Covarrubias.
Jose's parents are Veronica Gonzalez and Jose Gonzalez. His favorite subject at the 9th grade campus is biology because it correlates to his future field of work. Jose would like to attend Harvard or Stanford since both have outstanding reputations and allow him to travel and explore. He plans on majoring in engineering to better the society. If Jose could change something in this world, he'd want to create resources to end the fear of overpopulation. Congratulations, Jose.
Okay, for Calexico High School main campus, we have Jessica Herrera.
She's in the Sacramento trip.
Jessica Herrera is a senior at Calexico High School, and what she likes most about CHS is that everyone cares about the students. Jessica says the counselors have helped her a lot and that their work has gone a long way towards creating a safe and positive environment. She also says that what she really likes about her school is that she and her friends feel safe because of the administrators, teachers, and counselors, and that as a group, these individuals allow students on campus to hone their skills. Jessica says that she is very appreciative of one counselor in particular, Mr. Cabrera, because he called universities and was in contact with the college board after stepping in when her assigned counselor got sick while she was in the midst of finishing her college applications and attempting to meet deadlines. Jessica states that she has enjoyed all of her classes at Calexico High School and that she has enjoyed her education in the district as a whole of the time she first started studying here as a 3rd grade student at Rockwood Elementary after coming from Mexicali. Jessica says that from Rockwood, she then went to Jefferson, Enrique Camarena, and then Calexico High School.
I just wanted to make a note that Miss Jessica Herrera is in Sacramento representing Calexico High School in a state FHA competition. And also from Calexico High School, Arturo Medina.
Arturo Medina is a senior at Calexico High School, and he began his education here in the Calexico Unified School District as a kindergarten student at Bland Charles. What Arturo likes most about Calexico High School is the atmosphere. His teachers and the students help each other. His favorite class at CHS has been AP Psychology, which he took last year, and his favorite class this school year is AP Calculus with Mr. Garcia. During his 4 years at Calexico High School, Arturo's favorite teachers have been Mr. Taylor, Ms. Montes, and Ms. Snow. Arturo is currently involved in MESA, CSF, APYL, FHA Hero, and mock trial. And because of his involvement in these activities, after school is his favorite time of the day. In addition to his academics, Arturo performs as the drummer in a garage band where he plays both classic and Spanish rock. Arturo is currently undecided as to which university he will be attending next year, but his dream school is MIT, and his second option is Columbia. Arturo intends to study environmental engineering. However, mechanical engineering and physics are also possibilities. One of Arturo's most memorable events as a student at Calexico High School was when he and his friend Jose Reyes won the gold medal in the Environmental Ambassador National Event Competition at Washington, D.C. this last summer, where he went to compete and where he also received his award. The advice that Arturo would give a student that is an incoming freshman at Calexico High School is the following. Explore as many activities as you can, as every activity offers a unique experience. Encourage people to join. Don't stress out too much. Take as many challenging classes as you can, but don't get overwhelmed and don't limit yourself. At present, Arturo Medina has an overall GPA of a 4.43, and out of 691 students in his senior class, he is ranked number 1. In regard to his career ambitions, Arturo intends to become an environmental engineer where he will focus on air pollution and renewable energy. Congratulations, Arturo.
Okay, for Aurora High School this evening, we have Salma Flores.
I'd like to congratulate Salma Flores. Salma Flores describes herself as a funny, friendly, and a nice person. One thing that motivates her is knowing that she will be graduating, and the people who motivate her is her family. An advice she would give her fellow peers: always keep working hard, never let distractions stop you from achieving your goals and what you want to become. That's it. Cristian Villegas Tobar. Is he here right now?
Cristian Villegas Tobar.
Congratulations in part of Aurora High School. Cristian describes himself as a funny, smart, and hardworking student. One thing that motivates him is to graduate is his mother, because he sees her work hard every day and still be able to help him. His plans are to go to college after high school. An advice he would give to his fellow classmates is to work hard in all the things involving education. That's pretty much it.
We're going to have our employee recognitions. So if we can have the Mrs. Ciria Hurtado, the principal from Blanche Charles. And the first employee to be recognized this evening is Jerry Armendaris.
Do you guys know something I don't know, or? Hi, Mr. Arbendaris. Good evening, everyone. I'm here before you to congratulate one of our best gardeners in the district, Mr. Jerry Armendaris. Mr. Armendaris was hired in October 2015 by Blanche Charles Elementary School after having a long time not having a gardener. Mr. Armendaris took the challenge and asked for help to get our lawns going, and the community pitched in. He prepared the lawn, we spoke to students, and the rest is history. I'm very proud what Mr. Armendaris has accomplished with our lawns. You could go by our schools and you could see our lawns green. Our students actually will use our sidewalks, and we'll tell people, please use the sidewalks, we want our schools to look beautiful. He doesn't know this, but I have plans for spring. And it's just around the corner. Our students and teachers want to plant trees and flowers. And you know what they say, it takes a village to raise a child. Well, it takes a community to take care of a fort. Our next task awaits Mr. Armendaris. Congratulations.
Thank you for keeping it beautiful. Also from Blanche Charles, we have Rosario Rodelo Reynoso.
Good evening, everyone. I'm here before you to congratulate one of our best teachers in our district, Ms. Rosario Rodelo Reynoso. Ms. Rosario Rodelo was hired in the year 2000 as an RSP teacher for Kennedy Gardens. Then she went to teach at the high school algebra special ed for 9 months, and then came to work to Blanche Charles as our STC 4th through 6th grade teacher. What the staff and I respect and admire about her is that she loves her students like nobody else and treats them just like her kids. Not only does she carries this class on check, but she also participates in most of our school committees where her input is vital. She is very knowledgeable in her area, and she's an asset to our school. Not only is she dedicated to our school, she's dedicated to her 3 children. So she's a full-time mom and a full-time teacher. Congratulations, Ms. Rodelo. Just one? Thank you.
Thank you, and congratulations to the Blanche Charles staff. Could we have the principal of Cesar Chavez, Mr. Jaime Santos?
First of all, I'd like to welcome the board and welcome everybody else to the House of the Lobos here at Cesar Chavez. Thank you all for coming. I'd like to present Ms. Nora Iniguez to come up, please.
Mrs. Iñiguez?
I'd like to present to the board Mrs. Nora Iniguez. Mrs. Nora Iniguez is an instructional aide in our special education department. At the beginning of this year, she was a part-time employee and was promoted to full-time because of her hard work and, of course, very well qualified. Nora is an integral part of our special education team. She's very well liked by our staff and especially the students. She is a constant promoter of the climate and culture and the overall good morale of our site. For those of you who do not know her, she is very artistic. And she's probably the only person I know that could probably grab a paperclip and a roll of Scotch tape and make it into a work of art. So with that being said, she transmits that creative energy to our staff and especially to our students. We are extremely lucky to have her working for us here at Cesar Chavez. Thank you, Nora, and thank you, Board of Directors.
And congratulations. And also from Cesar Chavez, we have Mrs. Patricia Medina.
Board of Trustees, I present to you Mrs. Patricia Medina. She is a fourth grade teacher here at Cesar Chavez. She has been working in this district since 2000. And she started at Kennedy Gardens, and she worked there until 2007. In 2007, she transferred over here to our site. Well, Mrs. Medina is a true professional, and she goes out of her way to engage and assist her students with the necessary structure they need for their education. What makes her extra special is that she's willing to try new things and take a risk for her students. They create models, storyboards, books. She's teaching them robotics and how to program. To be honest with you, if I had the opportunity, I would hope that my sons would have Mrs. Medina as their teacher. She is an amazing educator, a team player. I am very happy and very proud that she is a teacher here at Cesar Chavez. I want to present you to the board. This is Patricia Medina, teacher extraordinaire.
Thank you, Mr. Santos, and congratulations to the Cesar Chavez staff. And if we could have Mr. Diego Romero, principal at Enrique Camarena. And the first staff member to be recognized from Enrique Camarena is Yolanda Guerrero.
Okay, Ms. Guerrero, please come forward. Our certificated employee of the month, Ms. Guerrero, science teacher. She is a professional, a respected colleague by many, who I consider is a cornerstone at Enrique Camarena Junior High School. You see, Ms. Guerrero has taught for 20-plus years at different schools. I worked by her side 18 years ago at Willie Moreno Junior High School. She was a teacher on special assignment. She is a leader at her school, her department in science, and quite frankly, a whole lot more in her professional career I could not name. But my students, her students, do know Ms. Guerrero very well, because her students do not leave her classroom without having received the latest and most innovative instruction that we have to offer. I am inspired by her work ethic, always the last one to leave. Her students are inspired by her commitment to teaching, and she is an example to any teacher committed to his or her profession. I only hope that when she looks back in her career, she is satisfied with the impact that she has had on the students from Calexico Unified School District over the course of several years. And believe me, when Ms. Guerrero speaks, we all listen. Thank you very much, Mrs. Guerrero.
Enrique Camarena, we have Ms. Rebecca Soto.
Thank you, Mr. Santos, for that word extraordinaire, because that describes our employees. Ms. Soto, please come forward. You know, on any given day at every school site, you can expect the unexpected. 110-degree weather, an AC blows out, multiple ACs blow out, a kid walks into the office bleeding, bloody nose, bloody knees. A teacher calls in an emergency. Rainy day schedule, it makes no difference. I can go on and on. But one thing we can count on at Enrique Camarena is someone will be there to handle that crisis. And at our school, it is no secret who that someone is. That is Ms. Soto. Ms. Soto is deserving of this awarded recognition and much, much more, if for one reason only that I have witnessed in the little bit of time I've been there. Any employee who walks by her desk will walk away with a smile, will walk away with a laugh that can make anyone forget if they are having one of those bad days. At my side, I can say without a shred of doubt that our employees are happier, they're caring, and they're more productive when surrounded by someone like Ms. Soto. Ms. Soto, the staff at Enrique Camarena Junior High School, our parents, myself, we appreciate and thank you because our students are better, our systems are better, the image of our school is certainly better with you there. You deserve it. Thank you, Ms. Soto.
It's always a pleasure to recognize our students and our staff for the work that they do in the classrooms. It's also a great pleasure and honor to recognize our student athletes that compete on behalf of Calexico High School and Calexico Unified, and especially when they are able to advance into CIF. So we're going to start this evening with our boys varsity basketball team. Okay. So our CIF qualifiers for boys varsity basketball, Coach Jose Briceño and his assistant coach Franco Núñez. Our boys basketball team, Moses Andrade, Leo Espinosa, Alberto Fávila, Fabián Galindo, Elliot Garcia, Alex Moedano, Ramsés Montes, Frank Moreno, Robert Muñoz, Alex Rivera, Kobe Robinson, Luis Villalón, and Gerardo Tovar. Congratulations to our varsity boys basketball team. Thank you for a job well done on the court. We're going to ask the athletes to not leave quite yet because we have another little surprise for you. And one of the surprises is the sports bags that are being provided to you, and also a little reception that we have in Cesar Chavez Library. Our girls varsity basketball team, under the direction of Coach Salvador Cuevas and assistant coach Vanessa Ochoa, also CIF qualifiers and IVL champions. Our varsity team, Danielle Burgos, Alexandra Espinosa, Giovanna Estrada, Alina Moreno, Natalia Pacheco, Lupita Peralta, Kayla Rubio, Amanda Tamayo, and Liz Vizcarra. And also congratulations to our girls varsity basketball team for all of your successes and the great representation you did for Calexico High School. Ciro. And now we have our girls and boys wrestling under the direction of Coach Gilbert Panela and assistant coaches Jose Jimenez and Robert Tavares. And for our girls CIF qualifiers, we have Veronica Hernandez.
All my boys are in track and they're in Palo Verde.
Okay. So the girls CIF qualifiers, Veronica Hernandez, Chantel Ponce, Elizabeth Chavez, and Stephanie Villafuentes. And we also have the boys wrestling team CIF qualifiers, Masters Tournament qualifiers, and our coach says that they're now in track, and I think they're all in track, and they're in Palo Verde, so he's going to represent for them Gustavo Benitez, Robert Tavares, CIF champion, Alexis Angulo, and Axel Angulo. Congratulations, and thank you for representing. And now our varsity girls soccer team. They were CIF qualifiers as well, under the direction of Coach Chris Lopez and assistant coach Victor Arredondo. And we have Kimberly Acuña, Jocelyn Aguiar, Marlene Aguirre, Areli Arana Aguilar, Julissa Cárdenas, Gina Castro, Yesenia Cervantes, Jennifer Diaz, Alexandria Espinosa, Denise Garduño, Jessica Jacobo, Sofía López, Andrea Manríquez, Chexid Torres, Elizabeth Trejo, Juliana Valenzuela, and Melissa Vasquez. Congratulations, and thank you for your hard work on the field. And now we have our varsity boys soccer. Not only were they CIF qualifiers, but they were also the CIF San Diego Division I finalists. Under the direction of Coach Javier Bernal and assistant coach Jorge Martinez. Rubén Aldama, Brian Arellano, Jorge Arredondo, Fausto Ávila, André Barraza, Francisco Beltrán, Sergio Reyes, Iván Figueroa, Iván Flores, Kevin Galván, Kane González, Cruz Hernández,
Kane González. Is it Kane? Mijo. Kane? Is it Kane? Kane? Okay, let's go.
Roberto López, Luis Mendoza, Jesús Pineda, Daniel Quiroz, Fausto Santibáñez, Javier Tavera, Carlos Tuaya, Alfredo Vega, Fernando Reyes, Alfredo Carrillo, Daniel Gutiérrez, and Rafael Cabrera. Congratulations to our CIF finalists. Okay, Abril Reyes would like to say a few words on behalf of Aurora High School.
Reyes? I would like to say a few words for Mr. Moreno. I know this is a student and a teacher recognition, but I would still like to recognize Mr. Moreno as a great principal who's always supporting his students and always making time to go into every classroom and make sure that they're all working. Thank you, and that's all.
So, all of our student athletes and our students who were awarded Student of the Month, please go to the library, follow Mrs. Burgos. We've got some snacks and some goodies for you there. Thank you. We're going to take about a 5-10 minute break, Mr. Calderon. Thank you.
Okay, welcome back. It's now 7:42. So we had jumped from item G to item H. So now we're going to come back to item G, comments from the public. The board will take any and all comments from the board will take any and all comments from the public related to an item on the agenda or any other item of district business that is not on the agenda. So we're going to limit our comments to 3 minutes because we do have about 8 or 9 people that want to make comments. The first person would be Claudia Maeda.
Good evening. My name is Clara Maeda. I am a PE teacher at Calexico High School, as well as the head varsity volleyball coach and assistant varsity softball coach. Behind me, I have the soccer program guys, both head coaches for soccer girls and soccer boys. I'm here to speaking on behalf of a fellow Bulldog, Joe Chabuco. Having Mr. Chabuco has been a blessing. He's gone above and beyond to make sure our sports programs and student athletes were all in order. I can only speak for myself, but he's been the best we've had. When I encouraged Joe Chabuco to apply for the AD position, I wanted him to be a part of something special. I've been a teacher here in Calexico for almost 10 years and coaching for 7. Never did it ever cross my mind that not even a year later, I would be standing here in front of my community defending his name and his job. I take a lot of pride in being a Bulldog. For those of you who don't know, I'm a graduate from Hopeville High School, but I'm proof of that Calexico saying, once a Bulldog, always a Bulldog. Calexico is my home, and one day I plan on having my daughters attend this school district. However, the way our AD, Mr. T, has been treated this past year makes me embarrassed to be a Bulldog. This is why, and we all know it, Calexico has a bad reputation. What's that saying we're also famous for? Only in Calexico. Another case of someone doing their job correctly and gets punished. I always defend Calexico. But how can I defend, excuse me, I always defend Calexico, but how can I defend my community when we treat one of our own the way we have treated Mr. T? Everything he does for our students. So please do not unfairly force Mr. T to resign from his position. Again, please do not unfairly force Mr. T to resign from his position. Please meet with all coaches, not just one, to determine Mr. T's fate in our athletic program. We are the ones who work with him on a daily basis. We need him, and our recent success in athletics is attributed to our leader, Mr. T, Mr. Tribuco. And the only ones who lose are them, our students. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Maeda. Next person that would like to speak is Perla Escobar. Thank you.
Good evening, students, parents, and board members. I'm Perla Escobar, senior from Calexico High School and varsity volleyball captain. I am here speaking on behalf of Joe Trabuco, athletic director of Calexico High School. On his first year as an athletic director, the volleyball program felt a kind of support that led us to win the CIF championship for the first time in more than 100 years. First CIF championship to win in Mr. Trabuco's first year as an athletic director. Calexico High School made history last year. There was never a home game where we would get to the gym and everything wasn't set up. There was never a time when we didn't have everything we needed. There was never a time when we felt like we didn't have support from him. As we all know, in his second year as an athletic director, the volleyball program also brought home the CIF title. This year, on his second year, the Calexico varsity boys soccer team made history as well, making it to the Division I CIF semifinal, something that had never been done before. Calexico has made history with Mr. Trabuco as an athletic director. Thanks to the dedication of Mr. Trabuco of always inputting our stats onto Max Preps, always taking film of our games, I got numerous awards on Max Preps and got noticed by colleges and universities. My junior year, I had no clue as to where I was going to go play college volleyball, or if I was even good enough to make it that far. But thanks to the support and help from Mr. Trabuco, he emailed college coaches about me, and thanks to the time he dedicated to sending those emails, I now have a full ride scholarship to Hawaii Pacific University. And even the coach from Hawaii Pacific told me that he had never had an athletic director email him about an athlete, that I was very lucky to have had him send that email because not every athletic director does that for their athletes. Helping me obtain a full ride scholarship to a four-year university is something I will be forever grateful about. And because of this and many more reasons, I believe that Mr. Trabuco should continue being our athletic director, allowing the sports of Calexico High School to continue making history. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the agenda would be Eric Lopez.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, board members. Well, I'm here specifically to speak on behalf of boys soccer and girls soccer programs. And a lot has been said tonight about the achievements of many individuals, both adults and teachers and people in the district. And I wish, in reality, that I would be up here saying those praises to Mr. Joe Trabuco, because speaking on what he's done for our programs here in Calexico High School has been outstanding. This year has been a historic moment for the soccer programs. I've been a I've been a coach of the district for over 10 years. 9 of those has been here at Calexico High School. And in those years that I've been here, I can honestly say that we had never had successful season as we had this. We got to Division V semifinals. The boys got to, of course, Division I finals. And we honestly believe that none of this could have happened without the meticulous hard work that Mr. Trabuco put into helping us set up our schedules. When you set up schedules, and a lot of people don't understand this, being an AD is not as easy as you might seem. And for us as coaches, it really helps us when we have that person that's really helping us out, getting us the correct games at the correct location, the correct tournaments. And for some people, it may just seem something so trivial, like, yeah, you're going to go to San Diego and play, who cares, right? But when you face the right teams and the right conditions and the right competitions, these athletes grow. These student athletes get to achieve and experience greatness that, had it not been for that, they would have never been able to go to, right? So you have the boys playing against Torrey Pines High School, a high school where the entire soccer team already has scholarships to some of the top universities in the country. Our boys have none of that. Our girls are playing against some of the top schools in San Diego. Yeah, maybe we took some losses to them, but I guarantee you those experiences helped them get to where they're at now. So we talk about their achievements and how far they got into CIF competition, and it could honestly not have been without the support that we got from that manager, Trabuco, in terms of how he helped us, the equipment that he got us to facilitate our practices and improve our skills, how he got these girls motivated. Because not only was he working out of the office, he was constantly on the soccer field talking to our girls, giving them that support, and the boys. It goes without saying. As we speak now, some of the boys who are here today have been contacted already by a local university in San Diego for prospective scholarships. And that could have not have happened had it not been for the hard work that he put into getting us into the right locations where college recruits can actually see these kids, right? They were approached by these recruits when we were in San Diego, and that to us as coaches means a lot. To the kids, it means the world, and more importantly, to the parents, it's a life-changing experience. We heard from Pearl, and I know that within the next couple of years here, we're going to have more experiences like those coming from the great work that Mr. Trabuco did for us for these past 2 years. Joe, my staff, my fellow coaches, my players, and my parents in the community, we thank you.
Next on the list would be Billy Brewer.
Thank you. My name is Billy Brewer. I'm the athletic director at Brawley High School. This is Miss Sandy Nugent, Central Union athletic director, and we have Mr. Joey Vandus back there from Southwest High School, and we are here in support of Mr. Joe Trabuco. And I just want to say something from outside of Calexico. Forget the blue shirt right now. I appreciate these athletes, and I'm going to tell you something. I have been an athletic director for the last 22 years. I have never seen the kind of discipline, the kind of sportsmanship. You've got some of the best coaches in this valley. You've got an athletic director that's doing an outstanding job, that's carrying on where Joe started, Joey Vandus started a couple years ago, and Joe Trabuco has turned another corner with the athletic program here. You've got a great set of parents. You've got community support right now. The pride in this community, I see it. And believe me, I hate to lose. I can't stand to lose. And I've been on the losing end of some of the very few teams that you have sitting here, and there's many more. And there'll be many more in the spring. And you've got one of the top programs right now, if not the top high school program in this valley, athletic program, and to change the leadership right now, to me, I just don't get it. And I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I just don't see why we would do that. You've got people in support here. I know you guys you got good hearts, and I know you want to do and make the right decision, but I would beg of you, I mean, if there's some issues there, let him work on it. Tell him what's going on, but to give up and throw the towel in that easy, to me, I see too many good things happening here in Calexico. And to me, at the end of the day, it's like Mrs. Maya said, who loses out of everything right here is these kids. At the end of the day, it's these kids that lose. And so, I'm not here to bash anybody. You got a very tough job, and I understand that. You got a very tough job. But I hope we keep politics out of it, because these kids and these parents deserve better than that. Thank you.
Next on the list is Joe Evangelist.
Thank you. Good evening, board members and Calexico. Like Coach Maeda said, once a bulldog, always a bulldog. I still feel very strong about this community, especially about Calexico High School. And when I left here a couple years ago, and Joe Tribuco took the spot, and I was completely retired last year. And this fall, I had the opportunity to come back on behalf of Southwest High School. As many of you people in here know, the untimely illness and eventual death of our wonderful Mickey Carter. They called me over the summer and asked me if I would take over the position of athletic director at Southwest. And of course, I didn't hesitate. Since that time, I had an opportunity to work very closely with the athletic directors in the Imperial Valley League, and obviously Joe Tribuco. Every situation we've had from an athletic director standpoint at Southwest High School in dealing with Calexico and specifically dealing AD to Joe Tribuco, we've had a tremendous working relationship. We've asked favors of Calexico for possible game change to accommodate a situation at our school, granted without question by the Bulldogs, the head man, Joe Tribuco. When Calexico asked for similar consideration like basketball homecoming schedules to accommodate so the girls can be here and all that's the things, you coaches know what I'm talking about. It was mutually given out of respect and willingness to work together. And like Billy said, I can speak as an athletic director, as a fellow athletic director. It's just, again, the situations, everybody has situations at their school site, issues and so forth. If there is those types of things, as an employee, you're wanted to be told what an issue, a potential situation would be, and you want to have the opportunity to confront that issue, to improve in your own performance on that issue. It certainly isn't something that you, towards the end of the school year, you just pink slip a guy and send him on his way. The losers in this, like has been stated, these kids right here. And I've seen Calexico, the kids here, and I'll say this without unequivocally, if that's even the right word, I don't know what I just said. Community Calexico board members, you need to know if you don't know, the best kids that I've experienced in 42 years that I've been in secondary school, the Calexico kids are the most appreciative. And I know Joe Tribuco feels the same way. Never seen a community, and kids are great all over. And we got some knuckleheads here in Calexico, just like every place does. We know that. But I'm talking about the majority, the vast majority of the kids here in this community. They appreciate when they know that you're out there busting your butt for them and doing the best you can and put them first, just what a couple of these students already had said. And I just, you kids here, you guys are awesome. And I know Joe Tribuco feels the same way, because that's why he busts his butt every day for you, so that your high school athletic experience will be the most positive thing that he can put together with the rest of the people at Calexico High School, the coaches, the administration, giving these kids the best opportunity to express themselves in athletics and academics and activities. And just one comment, one last thing. I probably went over 3 minutes, but oh well. Okay, here it is. And I don't want you to take this as a real flippant. I'm not trying to be cute or anything up here. But I heard earlier today one of the administrators in elementary were talking about a anti-bullying program for the elementary. And to me, that's what this is like in reverse. It seems to me that there's some kind of a bullying thing going on with forcing somebody to make a retirement so that you can say that he retired instead of firing a guy, and to me that's bullying. And I think I ask board members here to reconsider that resignation that was tendered and rescind that resignation and get this man back in a job and let him continue the great job he's doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Evangelist. Next on the list is Elizabeth Barreto. Yeah? Barreta. No? No? Does it look familiar to anybody? No? Okay. So, next on the list would be Sergio Licona. No? Licona. No? Okay, so last. Okay, so not last, but next on the list would be Rosa Lopez de Vega. No? Rosa Lopez de Vega? No? And last but not least, Frank Moreno.
Good afternoon, parents, board members, students. I'm Frank Moreno. I'm a junior here at Calexico High School, and there's not a lot of great things to say about Calexico. That's what a lot of people say, but you know what? We all have a lot of pride, and we're proud in our athletic director. We really like Joe Tribuco. He's done a lot of great things for us. He's gotten us a lot of new uniforms. I mean, the list goes on. He gets us Gatorade stuff, protein bars. I mean, he's incredible, It's like a professional dream, Like, he gives us so many things. He supports us, like, on the field. He's always there for us, getting us buses to the games, nice vans, nice transportation. The list goes on because, he's the man, He does his job and he does it well. He knows how to do it, and the only ones getting hurt here is these people, the students. Right? Right? Let's go. We want tea. I just feel like starting over again with a new athletic director is really going to affect the sports program. It's going to take a hit because Tribuco knows what he's doing.
And believe us, starting over with new coaches and new leaders is Daniel Castillo. Sorry, students, board members, and teachers. Starting over with new leaders for athletics, football, 4 head coaches in 4 years. 0-10 last year. It's not a good thing. You got to build a program, and with an athletic director for 2 years, and we get a new one, it's not good. Nothing good is going to come out of that. Believe us, we know from experience, and it's just not good. And we should just keep Tribuco because he's a great leader. He inspires all of the student athletes. Everyone likes him. He's a great guy. He has a good attitude. He encourages the students, and I don't know what I would do without him, to be honest. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So that was item G, comments from the public. So from that, we're going to jump to item I, consent agenda. All items appearing will be acted upon one motion without discussion. Is there a motion to approve item I? Again, is there a motion to approve item I?
Motion to approve.
There's a motion by Ms. Real. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second by Mr. Calderon Jr. If no further comments or questions, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Voting in favor are Ms. Aguilar, Ms. Real, Mr. Calderon Jr., Mr. Ortega, and myself, Mr. Calderon. Item J, information items. Item J1, Superintendent's Report. Maria?
Yes, good evening, trustees. Tonight's report is very brief. Our swimming pool project is coming along. We had a pool meeting this week, and so everything is on schedule. We encourage the trustees and the community to go online to our website to look at the most current photos of our progress. Yesterday, we had a lockdown at Calexico High School, and actually the lockdown impacted 4 sites: Calexico High School main campus, the 9th grade dual school, and Rockwood. It was done at the request of the police department, who were looking into a public complaint. The lockdown was lifted within about 15-20 minutes after it started. One of the things that I bring to you is the possibility of having a special board meeting as soon as possible so that we can discuss putting a bond on our local ballot for facilities and or having a board retreat. So I'd like to have direction from the board on that as soon as possible, if that would be okay. And that's all.
Thank you, Ms. Humphries. Now, we had talked about this in the past regarding having a, can you guys hear me? Yes? Can you guys hear me? No? Can you hear me now?
No.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Better? Okay, so we had talked about having a special board meeting to talk about the bond, since it seems that there will be something like that on the November ballot. So would this board entertain the idea of having a special board meeting sometime next week? I don't want to do it over spring break. So would this board would like to entertain the idea to having for the bond? It will be as soon as possible, because we actually already a couple of months behind if we were to do put a ballot a bond issue on the November ballot.
I think, if
Go
I
ahead.
may comment, I think, Mr. President, the fact is, even going beyond the fact of wanting to bond, there's another process. There needs to be some clarity with the community in terms, because the last bond didn't turn out so well, and we need to address those, because people might have forgotten or not known what the situation, where we're at with that bond. So you need to have that clarity in order to move forward and say, okay, these are the things, safeguards that are in place now, so that experience won't be repeated. And besides the bond, I think there are other things in terms of direction, in terms of this board being aware of where we are at. I think that's important. I think there should be a retreat.
So we could, like you said, Ms. Aguilar, we could have a special board meeting and to more or less inform the public as to what is it that we would do, and past debt that they need to be aware of,
That there's
because
funds there that need to be
spent, yes.
that there needs to be participation from the community, so that it's like an oversight.
Exactly, and we do have an oversight committee for the last bond. Ms. Real, Mr. Calderon Jr., Mr. Ortega, what about you guys? Would you be okay with having a special board meeting to talk about these issues?
I'm for it. I mean, that would be the whole purpose, is to discuss the parameters.
Yes, exactly.
Awareness to the community.
Yes.
And then overall, we already know what our capacity is from the all the way that came down and make those presentations, so I'm for it.
It is, Ken. So, Mr. Calderon?
I'm all for it. I think everybody's made good points here. We have to start somewhere and let the public know where we're at as far as Measure J and so forth.
Measure Al? Oh, I'm sorry.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I think we're all on the same page. I'm sorry.
Okay. So, sometime next week, would that be okay?
As long as it's
Well,
not Wednesday.
My only concern is that we give ample time to our citizens so they can make arrangements if they want to attend, because that's vital.
Yeah, because we could have it over spring break, but people go out on vacation, so next week, next Thursday?
No, that's fine.
That's fine? Do I?
No.
Okay, so.
I'm good for any day.
I'm good for any day too, so.
I can't
You
Wednesdays.
can't do Wednesday. Tuesday?
Yeah,
Tuesday? So at 6 p.m., Norma? So
6 p.m.?
6 p.m.?
That's fine.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and schedule and advertise this special board meeting to talk about.
Tuesday, March 15th at 6 p.m.?
Yes, to talk about these issues. Let me check my calendar. I'm
That'll
sorry.
be fine. Just one request, Ms. Andres. If we can change all our marquees throughout the district so everyone knows that we're having this.
Okay, so I'm good for the 15th as well. So next Tuesday at 6 p.m.
6 p.m. March 15th.
March 15th. And then we could have all of the schools send out a diary to advertise for this. Given the fact that we might have more than the usual number of parents show up, should we have it here again, or Willie Moreno, or? Boardroom? Yes. Tuesday?
Boardroom.
She can't Thursday.
Monday or Tuesday?
What up? But yeah, but people already will be gone for spring break. No? Are you sure?
Okay, so he's saying to just leave it on Tuesday.
Huh?
He said to just leave it on Tuesday.
Monday, the 21st is not spring break yet. Monday, the 21st is not spring break yet. Would you like to do it not this Monday, but the following Monday?
Yeah, that.
No?
Why not?
That's fine, you guys can.
No, but we want to have everybody.
That's the whole point of the retreat.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
I know what I'm saying. They want to do it the other week. My kids go on vacation.
Okay, what about this Monday?
This coming Tuesday, there's open house
There's
somewhere?
open house. Is there something on Monday?
Okay, what about Wednesday? Maybe I can make arrangements for I feed on
Is there something? Oh,
Wednesday, but I
there's a
feed
high
in.
school on Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah, Tuesday.
Okay, what about Monday?
Okay, we're wasting time here, people.
Saturday?
You will have to post it tomorrow. But that's okay. What? Because it's a special board meeting, so you can post it. What do you have for
Monday,
Nothing? No, or? Okay, so Monday?
Monday, okay.
Okay, so we're gonna change it for Monday then. At the 14th in the boardroom.
That gives staff one day to prepare, or well, two, I guess.
That's okay. So, okay, so at 6 p.m. So that's it for Monday or next Monday at 6 p.m. in the boardroom. Okay, that was item J1A. Item J2, association comments, ACT. Let me see if I don't have anything going on.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board, members of Calexico Unified School District, Watching our students and teachers and coaches and athletic directors, not even from this district, get up here and speak on the behalf of Mr. Trabucco. Given that situation, I think we have to question how things got to this point with our athletic director. I think we have to question why we are losing a valued part of our Bulldog family. What led to this? There are rumors, and I hear all of them, but because they're rumors, I won't repeat them. But regardless of the reasons, we need to reflect. And I hope we would feel the need to reflect on how something like this happens. We have to ask ourselves not why Calexico is losing a talent like Joe Trabucco, but why the district isn't fighting to keep him. We had people from other districts coming up here to defend him. So where did we go wrong? We can't let something like this happen again. This is a loss to our district and to our students. And unfortunately, this is not the only loss to our Calexico Unified School District family. I'm very sad to report the passing of Martha Gutierrez, a former teacher from our district who taught elementary gate classes for over 30 years. And I would like to ask that we please observe a moment of silence in her honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. CSEA? No comments? Thank you. There's no comments from CSEA. Okay. That was item J2. Item J3, updates, pool update. Maria?
I'll have Ms. Mai Randall give you a more in-depth update than what I gave in my report.
Good evening, trustees. I'm just wanting to share a little update about the pool. We did have a meeting this past Tuesday to discuss the pool, to go over the budget and over the project timeline, and it looks like we are on track timeline-wise, and we will have a pool this summer, hopefully around June the 1st is what we're projecting. We did not have any attendance from the city of, we had one attendee with the city of Calexico attend our pool meeting, and there was a discussion amongst the committee about the funding, and it was shared in the committee that we did receive our answer to the public records request, and at this point the city was unable to locate the agreement between the district and the RDA, so it looks at this time that we're not going to receive the $1.42 million in RDA funds. I'm pretty positive that we're not going to receive those funds from the Department of Finance. And we've been working with legal so that we can kind of finalize that with the Department of Finance and CDE. But I'm pretty sure that based on the comments from our visit in Sacramento, that we will not be receiving those funds. Also, as a part of the funding sources, there was Measure H funds by way of a bond of $2 million, and then the Measure H committee from the city giving
an additional $1 million for a total of $3 million towards the pool project. And we are working with our legal to draft a letter, just as a letter of intent or a letter of confidence that the city does plan to provide the district with that $3 million towards the project. So we are working on that with our attorney, and I hope to have some information or certainly some resolution to both of those issues by our next board meeting. So that's my pool update, other than we are on schedule and that the pool is coming up. It's coming along quite nicely, and you can check the website to take a look at the pictures, and it is coming along quite nicely. And that's my update. Yes, ma'am.
I was just going to comment that having served on the Measure H while as a private citizen, those monies were approved, and those monies were approved also by the city council. So it would be my understanding if the only way that the money couldn't come forward is if the money's not there, or if the council decides to undo or reverse their decision.
That is correct.
It should come.
That is correct. And
Theoretically.
Hopefully so, and I think what we'd like to, if at all possible, along with the city, as a show of good faith or good faith gesture, since we are building the pool, the construction is going on, that our request may be that we go ahead and retrieve that $3 million towards the project, because we are pretty far along in the project. So that probably is the route in which we're going to go at this point. But I hope to have a letter out and possibly a response from the city, hopefully by our next board meeting. And I will follow up and inform the board at that time. And that's my update. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Randall. That was a pool update, facilities update.
Good evening, Board. Just a quick facilities update of some of the things that are going on at facilities maintenance and operation. Our 2 buses that were ordered, the ETA on that will be tomorrow. So those new buses will be coming in. The process is that we get scheduled with the Highway Patrol to come out and do the inspection on it, and then hopefully within early or mid-late next week, we'll have those things in our rotation. So with that being said, once those buses are in our regular rotation, we're scheduled to get our other 3 buses retrofitted with the AC units that was approved some time ago. The ETA on that's going to be about 2 weeks from start to finish on the AC retrofits, so they'll be ready for summer. Shade structures, Jefferson's complete, Deanne's is complete, Kennedy Gardens is complete. I have a pre-construction meeting on March 23rd for Calexico High School, Dual, Rockwood, and Maines, with the construction starting on March 28th for those 4 schools. Varner Gym Phase 1 is in progress. I don't know if you've had a chance to take a look at that, but the ACs are off the roof. The first layer of the built-up roof on top is torn off. The floor is gone out of the gym, so we're moving right along on that, right on schedule. Phase 2, the RFP for the bleachers and the bathroom remodels at Varner Gym is scheduled for next month, so the RFP will be flying then, so we'll be seeing some movement on that. Prop 39, we had the senator come down and award the check to William Moreno. So hopefully here in the next week or 2, we'll be able to get the RFQ flown so we can start getting some design bid builds going and getting some firms to answer that RFQ. So security fencing, as you can see out front here, they're going up quite nicely. Blanche Charles is complete. Cesar Chavez is about 98%. Still got to put the hardware, the locking hardware on there. And Dual's at about 50% complete. And Rockwood's going to be our last project in that security fencing. Hopefully with tonight's approval with the tear down of the Ward Field grandstand, I'm told that the company that we're recommending that we go with will have equipment on site tomorrow, with construction or destruction to happen starting Monday morning. So that'd be great. We've estimated what the Ward Field restroom remodel would cost, and we're estimating about $24,000 for our crews to go in there and remodel Ward Field restrooms, if that's the will of the board. And ERP, we're looking at having the award bid, once we get the RFPs flown and the awards in, we're looking to have that approved by the board on the May 12th board, and to have the project start by June 15th, with all those projects being completed before the start of school. That's my facility update. Thank you. Is there any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. That was our facilities update. Safety Committee update.
Good evening. We don't have an update for our safety committee. We haven't met.
Okay. One of the things that, one of my comments is, we need to do something about cross guards or some other form of safety precaution along Highway 98.
Highway 98, okay. We have gone around, we added a crossing guard at the Rockwood area. We added a crossing guard at the ninth grade campus. And the last one we added was at the Kennedy Gardens preschool area. And so I know that they had requested that we do evaluation of the area in front of Enrique Camarena, but I will also take a look at the Highway 98.
And not necessarily talking about the cross guards, but also taking other precautions or safety precautions. The other day, about 2-3 weeks ago, I saw a car pull on the corner of 98 and Andrade, and a semi-truck went by that car, probably foot and a half. It almost hit him. And that person was dropping off a student in the morning, and the truck just flew by that car. It was this close. So I don't know if we need to talk to the city, to the police department. What is it that we can do about that? Because to me, that was a close call.
So this is Andrade and 98.
Yeah, well, it's not Andrade. I'm sorry, Encinas.
Encinas, the high school.
Encinas and 98 by the high school, yes.
Because I know the concern has come up with Blair and 98.
Yeah, that too.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was the Safety Committee, Insurance Committee. Is there an update?
Good evening, trustees. Our next insurance committee meeting is scheduled for March the 15th, which is next week. So we have nothing to report at this time.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. LCAP Committee.
Yesterday, we held our fourth parent forum. The topic was college and career readiness. We had over 120 parents attend and over 90 students, and we had several staff members from Jefferson and other sites, including our CSEA members. It was a very productive night. We did take advantage and went over high school, college requirements, and we explained to parents what the A through G is, and we provided some forms in terms of a 4-year plan. There was a lot of good conversation. Parents are asking to provide more trainings regarding the A through G and developing 4-year plans for our students. Our next LCAP meeting, focusing on Goal 5 on parent climate, student climate, and on parent involvement, Goal 6 will be on Wednesday, the 23rd. It will be at Kennedy Gardens Elementary School. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch. You mentioned that there was parents asking for A through, you mentioned parents were asking for A through G?
We reviewed with them what was A through G, because we provided some data regarding A through G, and they had questions, and we had prepared to explain what an A through G is and what a 4-year plan looks like. And we spoke also the comparison between high school requirements and college requirements.
Also, I think another aspect that needs to be addressed because financial aid process application is changing. So I think that's.
We did speak, we spoke about FAFSA, and we provided some flyers that gives the timeline of the changes, and we did let them know that the high school had provided and had been sending out messages that they have provided trainings. For whatever reasons, parents have not attended as much as we would like for them to attend, but many of our parents right now that we had were junior high and elementary, so they were the ones that were having those questions.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ramirez. ROP Committee, ROP Report Update. Mr. Calderon Jr.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. As far as IVROP, it started off kind of on a slow manner. They had two programs they had to shut down due to grant funding. That was programs Padres and Juntos. Fortunately, I'm pleased to tell you that most of their staff that were employed in these programs were able to be located in the other programs that are existing. And that's why I kind of bring this back, that these monies are not going to be with us. We have to plan and we have to strategize when we're spending money. So they're back on track. There is some reorganization. We have Mr. Phil Villamor. He is the Director of Education, has actually accepted a position for an Adult Education Grant Coordinator at Huntington Beach School District. So they're going to be going through some reorganization. Most likely they have 5 candidates among their staff that they're probably going to be considering, and hopefully they can promote within. There's a few competitions coming up. Next Thursday at 3:30 to 7:30, the CTE Skills Competition for Information Communication Technology Pathway will take place at Southwest High School. This is a huge effort between teachers and schools offering the CTE, ICT course and pathways. So this is a big thing. This is the first time they're actually holding these type of demonstrations, and hopefully if you have the time, you should show up and see what our kids and our teachers are doing out there. Also tomorrow, Friday, from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., the CTE Skills Competition for Ag and Welding will take place at IVC in Building 3100. And that's also, we got some of our kids competing in this event, and if you have the time, show up and support our kids. They're doing great things within these programs, and hopefully we can support them. And lastly, the 2016 Dancing with the Stars Gala is almost sold out. So if you're one of the ones that attends, and if you want tickets, you can call Wendy at IVROP. She has a few tickets left. This is a great fundraiser that actually provides fundraisers, or not from scholarships, to our kids. And last year, our kids here in Calexico School District received a lot of money from this foundation. Again, if you have the time, enjoy. It's a good event. In fact, last year, Ms. Ambriz participated, and hopefully this year, some of the dancers will go out there and do their thing. And Mr. MC over there, Mr. John Moreno, was also there. So, again, good event, and it's all for the kids. Thank you, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Calderon Jr. That was the ROP Committee update. Mr. J, Citizens Oversight Committee update. Maria? Oh, Ms. Randall?
Trustees. So this is a name that hasn't been on any of our agendas for quite some time. I'm happy to have it back here on the agenda. It's here on the agenda because we do have in our budget a balance on this bond. It's about $625,000 left to be spent on behalf of this bond. In a future board meeting, probably our next board meeting, regular scheduled board meeting, I've had the bond independently audited for the last 3 years, and one of the requirements to have this bond and to spend the funds are to have an oversight committee. And that has been one of the major issues and problems with the Measure J bond. And from what I've heard and what I've witnessed. And coming to Calexico School District about 5 years or almost 5 years ago, this was a real hot topic, a real hot item, because there was some issues and concerns regarding the use of the funds for the Measure J bond. So I really appreciate the comments from the board this evening about updating the community as to where we are with the bond, what we spent the funds on, how much is left, and now how can we best utilize those bond funds in the manner in which they were intended for use. So the purpose of this update here is to really reestablish that committee, because I know that there are a lot of folks that would want to be a part of that. And it's a requirement to have this Prop 39 bond, is that there has to be an oversight committee to make sure and to give direction as to how we're going to spend the funds. So with the assistance of Mrs. Burgos, we've developed an application. We will be opening a link on our website, advertising in the paper to have citizens and community members fill the seats in this 7-member committee. Applications can be acquired off of our website, and they will be turned into my office. And we will then establish a committee, as we have, like I said, this $625,000 approximately to spend, and really make some improvements in our school the way the funds were intended to be spent.
Ms. Randall?
Yes.
In the past, did they have a committee that existed?
So that's a great question. Yes, there was a committee, and it was a committee. Yes, they had a committee, and there were some discrepancy in the committee as far as the rules and regulations as to who can sit on a committee. It's very strict and it's very lined out. Say, for instance, there can be no board member on the committee. So, not that there was a board member on the committee, but that's just, one of the things. But there was a committee, but it wasn't, 100% going along the right way. So, we know that, we're going to take care of that, and we're certainly going to do it the right way moving forward.
And board members,
Well, what I'm getting at, we're not legally binded by the old committee that we have.
We are not. So there are, I believe there were 7 members, but there are 2 existing members, and some of the criteria to be a member on the committee is that you have to live in the community. You cannot be an employee of the school district, and there are different categories. There can be a parent, like a parent involvement, a business person in the community, but you have to still reside in the community to sit on the oversight committee. So, go ahead.
In our agenda, there's only an application.
Say it one more time.
That's it. On our agenda, there's only an application. There's no list of those rules that you're citing.
I'll upload those, or we'll put it as a part of the packet with the application. I'll make sure we do that.
Yes.
On the website?
Yeah,
On the website, yes. So we'll put it on the web. We'll just kind of do some criteria there. And it is a 7-member committee, and we will have a link that, so that the transparency's there, the information's there, and just really go about doing it the right way moving forward.
Well, I'm sure you have deadlines on, do you have a deadline for this application?
So I'd like to, hopefully with some involvement, and we get the applications, I'd like to have and present to the board at our next regularly scheduled board meeting in April, if not the first meeting, the second meeting that we've selected, and we have a full committee so that we can start our meetings and move forward with spending down and, those $625,000. That's my plan. Yes, ma'am.
One of the things that I just wanted to point out was that Measure J was, part of the intent was to improve Calexico High School. And that received kind of like a lick and a promise. So I think moving forward, hopefully this newly formed committee will take a look at what Calexico High School needs, maybe in terms of deep infrastructure or whatever, but I think that, to me, I think that should be a priority, but.
Correct,
I'm just
and the
one person.
idea is to take a look at those bond documents, because technically you can only spend the funds on how the bond was approved. So take a look at what was listed on the bond documents, and then those would be, that would be the criteria in which we would select a project to move forward and to spend those funds, because that's really the only legal way we can spend those funds.
I know that there is a specific format of who can be members, but I would suggest reaching out to Joe Rodriguez, who was on the committee, and he might be able to provide you some back history, if not,
Just any information is
citation.
helpful, sure.
He's in Julian, but I'm sure he would be willing to talk to anybody who called him.
Okay, will do. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Randall. Item J4, board reports. These are informational reports by board members. No action is taken. Ms. Aguilar? I'm sorry?
This one?
Nope. We need to wait another.
Hello? Hello? Okay. Yeah, I do have my list. I received in the last month, I received a phone call regarding Kennedy Gardens. I brought it to the attention to Ms. Ambriz. Ms. Ambriz spoke to me and said, the concerns were addressed in regards to these parents' concerns overall in Kennedy Gardens. However, since then, I received another phone call and a picture related to the grounds. The grounds at Kennedy Gardens need attention. It's dry, dusty, and frankly, the pictures that I saw were pretty bad. It does not look like a well-tended lawn, so that is a concern, considering the high rate of asthma in our community. So I did also had also raised issue regarding gates being opened, and I've stopped by, I've passed by Kennedy Gardens, and while there is like those things, but it's just a hook, it's not locked, first of all. Secondly, there's a access to the kindergarten area. The road is not well maintained. There is a door where it's got a really nice safety door, but yet on the left-hand side, we have a fence that's halfway falling down. And again, the same thing, those gates, I pass by almost every day, and those gates are completely open. That back area is dark. Anybody could go in there and do some damage or hide there. It's not a safe area. So I'd like, if we can address that, I'd really appreciate that. In terms, I'm really glad to see us moving on forward in terms of getting together to talk at a retreat. I would like to hear from the board collectively what direction we're going with the vision, and what is the strategic plan moving forward, maybe a 5 to 10 year plan. I really want to praise our kids. They've done an awesome job. I know they're gone, but we didn't get to say that to them, but hopefully, it gets to them that they've done a really great job, CIF championships all around, and that says something about those students, about those coaches, about those parents. I also want to really praise our teachers, like, for example, Mrs. Guerrero. I've known Mrs. Guerrero for many years, and she's an outstanding teacher. And we have a lot of outstanding teachers out there that that has been mentioned in the past, and I know we're addressing it, but just keep in mind that, you know, we have some really awesome teachers that can be what I would call master teachers, that can be those examples, can be those guiding or provide training to our new incoming teachers. Those are the teachers. I want to see, you know, 10 Mrs. Guerreros, you know, and, you know, you've got somebody like that, like Mrs. Montes, Mrs. Cota. So, okay. One of the other things I did want to ask, Mr. President, that perhaps you might consider, I've brought it up a couple times already, in terms of what we're doing in terms of the solar panels for the pool for heating. It's what was not included in the cost. And that's what's going to keep our pool warm year-round. So if it's not built into the cost, then we don't have a year-round pool. So I am asking, Mr. President, if you would designate a two-person committee to inquire with IID or the county in terms of securing either funding for that or whether it's external, internal, or what are we doing? Because if we've got a project end date of June, then our project isn't complete without those solar panels. Another concern that was brought to my attention was at Willie Moreno Junior High in terms of, I know we don't have security guards assigned, but I know that, I think the last time I inquired something regarding like this, I was told that we have somebody who's in charge of the site, right? That the site coordinator, right? So if students stay late or being picked up late, is somebody staying there to make sure that those students are safe? Does the site coordinator stay until all kids are gone? Because I had an inquiry from a parent and a teacher, so I'm asking for that. And finally, this is a shameless promotion for scholarships through San Diego State. We have Taste of Mystery. I've got tickets. It'll be Saturday, March the 19th. It is also going for scholarships for students coming into as freshmen or transfer students. And it's $50. It's a dinner, theater, costume party, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And thank you so much, and good night.
Thank you, Ms. Aguilar. Ms. Real.
Good evening, administrators. Well, I have nothing but positive things to say, and I'm really excited that we're actually moving forward with our new buses. Like we were just announced are getting here tomorrow. The other 3 buses that are getting finally air conditioning, they're going to be ready for the summer. I'm really excited for that for students, you know, so they're not traveling without air conditioning. That we're on schedule with the swimming pool, because obviously it's a project that's been ongoing for many years, and everybody in the community of Calexico is looking forward to getting that project completed. I also want to congratulate all the teachers, all the students that were recognized today, all the teams, their hard work, their effort. I mean, it's paying off, and it's just something really nice to actually acknowledge them and, you know, bringing them up here and giving them those awards. So it's really nice to see that Calexico is standing out from the rest of the other schools in the Pure Valley, just like the other athletic directors came up here to say. You know, they're acknowledging us, even though they don't, like he said, he doesn't like to lose, but he's losing to Calexico. So we must be doing something right in our athletic department. And just congratulations to everybody else who was recognized today here. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Real. Mr. Calderon Jr.
Good evening. First of all, I'd like to congratulate all our students, athletes, for their efforts and going out there and actually showing what a Bulldog is all about. Also the coaches for their limited time and effort to get these kids ready so when they're competing, they're ready to go. The teachers and the other staff that were here tonight, they were recognized for their efforts in getting our school to function. I mean, everyone plays an important role here. Without anyone that works for this district, we wouldn't get anywhere. And that's why I'd like to recommend, I haven't seen any staff from M&O, maybe at the beginning when we started this. But I'd like to see, because I know I know that, but we stopped. I think we have a lot of people out there, the cooks, The custodians from the sites have come up, but I'd like to see cooks. Cooks are out there feeding our kids, making sure that they get the nutrition that they need and so forth. I want to see that because of them, this whole madness is taking place. And I'm not downgrading anyone because I think the administrators, thank you for being out here and seeing what our vision is, because one of these days you might be sitting here too. But I applaud you for taking the time and coming to these meetings and understand where we're coming from. It's not easy to sit up here and make decisions. But sometimes we have to make hard decisions, and that's what it is. My board members, we work together, and hopefully we'll stay working together and make the right decisions if we have to. And Maria that keeps us abreast of, you know what, maybe we shouldn't go that route, and this is what we should do, and keeps legal on the phone and so forth. So it is not easy, but we're going to get through. We're going to get through. I see a lot of good things in the future. Hopefully our scores will improve in our sites, and it becomes competitive within site. Because I know that really you don't make a big thing out of it, but when those scores come out, I know you have bragging rights as far as the scores for your kids and so forth. So it's important, and it's important that we get our parents involved because they also are a great part of this whole process. And with that, hopefully we can have this retreat and continue our vision for this district. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Calderon Jr. Mr. Ortega?
I have no comments.
Thank you, Mr. Ortega. And before I make my comments, I would like to make a motion to extend this meeting until 10:30.
Motion.
Second.
So, 10:30. So Mr. Ortega made the motion to extend it to 10:30, and Mr. Calderon Jr. seconded. If no more questions or comments, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Voting in favor of Ms. Aguilar, Ms. Real, Mr. Calderon Jr., Mr. Ortega, myself, Mr. Calderon. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our meeting. First of all, I would like to recognize all members of this community. It is unfortunate that sometimes it takes a not so pleasant decision or event in order for us to come together and see what Calexico is made of. And I think that's what happened today. We can see where we are united, and we can see where we're doing good things. So not only do we have, like I said, not only do we have teachers that are doing their jobs, but also I'd like to give a big shout out to all those members of CSEA, bus drivers, custodians, and people that take care of our schools. In my own job, I can see that a teacher knows 34 names, but a bus driver knows 150 names. So it is nice when you see when you see a bus driver call everybody by their first name when they're getting on the bus. So a big shout out to all those people that take the time to do that. Changing the subject here, we need to do something about the shades for the summer. I know we are getting close to the summer, to those 100 plus degree weather factors. So we need to make sure that we do that. Where are we at? I would like to know where we are with those shades that we said that we were going to buy and install.
He already
Mr.
reported on it when he went up there.
Mr. Nielsen reported that in his
shade.
facilities report, and several of the schools already have the shade in place.
Okay. So.
Correct.
The remaining schools start at the end of the month, correct? That's what part of your report was? Yeah.
Well,
okay.
Mr. President, I think we could take a step further here. We should get an update on our air conditioners, because that's something that should be taken care of.
And actually,
so we don't run into the same issue that we had
And that was actually one of my next item, that we need to make sure that we come up with a schedule in order to make sure that all our AC units are serviced and ready to go for, not only for this summer or for the year end, but for the beginning of the next school year. So we need to that, and if you could work on that, Maria, and Mr. Nelson, so we don't are caught by any surprises. Things happen, machines break, and that's for sure, and that's 100% probability that we will have ACs that will break down. However, we need to be prepared for when those AC units break down. Solar panels, I understand that that's been the hot topic since we went to CSBA, to the CSBA conference, and if the board would like to give direction to Maria and the rest of the staff in order to have a meeting with whoever they need to have a meeting, whether it be IID or any of these private companies that could give us an estimate or options as to what is it that we can do at least for the pool. So, on my previous talks with the county, they told me, because I inquired regarding getting solar panels as shades for the schools, and I was told basically that for the price that they come with, it wasn't really we wouldn't be saving money on the long run. So that's what I was told. However, so that's what I was told. So, but Maria, and if you could maybe inquire a bit more on that.
We've actually been speaking to representatives of some companies to show us what their services are and their prices.
Yes, go ahead.
Mr. President, I thought, is this to augment what we have now? Because it's gas, isn't it? How are we going to heat the pool? Or, I thought it's gas, correct? Or no? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, but
so you were trying to augment the cost of the...
Yeah, so
the gas
if we
and
could have some,
electric.
at least start with that, start with the pool being heated by solar energy.
Yeah.
So it doesn't cost anything to ask, right? So, and one last comment. This is just a comment that I was going to make regarding on one of the board members' comments or questions regarding safety and for all the schools and students being left on school grounds after hours. It is my understanding that the admin or a admin designee needs to be on site until the last kid leaves. Is that right, Maria?
Yes, when we have our after-school programs, we have our, for example, with ACES, we have our supervisors out there, and we have our evening security, and then we have our contract security company.
Yeah. Yeah, but the contract security companies that are not admin. So
No.
my point is, an admin or an admin designee, whether it be ACES or whether it be...
We have our site supervisors.
They need to be there until the last kid leaves.
I'm on site, I'm at the district of Wisconsin.
She needs to come.
So if there's ever a student that is there past 6.
Good evening, Board. I'm scheduled to be on site till 7 o'clock every evening, and the site coordinators for ACES have been instructed to give me a call whenever there is a student there past 6 o'clock. If they usually are scheduled to work till 6:10, and they usually don't mind staying there longer if there's a student in need. They will notify me, and if it goes past 6:15, I'll head out there and I'll wait with the student, and then I'll meet with the parent. I know it's happened once at Bland's Charles, and Ms. Hurtado was there, and so she took the student home while it took me some time to get there. And so, there's always someone that is willing to stay with the students. I was at Willie Moreno the other day subbing for the coordinators that couldn't be there, and when I left at 6:15, there was a student standing outside, and so I just kind of hung out with them till someone came home. So if I'm on site, I don't feel comfortable leaving the student just waiting. I will wait with them, and I've instructed all the site coordinators to do to call me, because I know they have things to do, and so I can be there and wait for parents and make sure they're safe. And then at the high school, we do have a proctor till 7:30. Most of our programs are done by 6:30, but the proctor is there a little bit longer.
Thank you. Yeah, and thank you. So, again, as site administrators and program coordinators, we need to make sure that we do have in mind the fact that some of these parents, things are going to happen. Like if something can go wrong, it will go wrong, and those parents, they might have one of their cars break down, or they may have an emergency, whatever the case may be. So we need to be prepared in order to make sure that our kids are kept in safety. And that was it for my comments. Okay. Item K, action items. Consideration and action approval of the following items. Item K1, awarding the RFP 2016-02 E-rate services and contracts. Maria?
This is something that we do every year for the E-rate, and it's just what we recommend that we approve.
So there's a yearly thing, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry.
On J5?
I apologize for that. I skipped the item J5, accounts payable and pre-list for February 2016. Do you guys have any questions? No. Concerns, doubts? No? No, I don't have any questions either, so. Okay, so going back to our item K1, awarding RFP 2016-02, E-rate services and contracts. Is there a motion to approve? There's a motion by Ms. Aguilar. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second by Mr. Ortega. If no further comments or questions, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Voting in favor, Ms. Aguilar, Ms. Real, Mr. Calderon Jr., Mr. Ortega, and myself, Mr. Calderon. Item K2, proposal by Ed Mealy Construction for Warfield bleacher removal. There's a motion by Ms. Aguilar. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second by Mr. Calderon Jr.?
yes.
If no further comments or questions, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Voting in favor of Ms. Aguilar, Ms. Real, Mr. Calderon Jr., Mr. Ortega, and myself, Mr. Calderon. Item K3, contract between After School Unlimited Incorporated and Calexico Unified School District to provide professional development for expanded learning program staff, assets, and ACES and assets.
I'd like some explanation.
Yeah. Thank you.
The presenter will be providing 4 days of professional development, and that is so that all of the after-school staff, including ACES and assets, will receive professional development. So it's divided, 2 of those days are going to be for the secondaries, junior highs, and the high school staff, and then the 2 days are for the elementary school staff. So this is open to everybody. The presenter only presents to 40 people at a time, and in after school we have close to 75 staff. And so this will be for our tutors and for our site coordinators. It's open to everybody. It is during spring break, but they will be getting paid for the time they come in.
We approved some training about 2 boards ago. What's the difference between this training and the training that we approved?
The one that was approved was for Spark after-school curriculum, and so that was the physical activity component and cooperative games. And so for some sites received also the training curriculum and equipment, so a lot of sports equipment. And this one here is for its after-school staff essential training. So they go over about, things that sometimes you don't think about that are very, in the workplace, they're taken for granted. So establishing your professional presence, what it means to be professional, being on time, appropriate dress, how you conduct yourself as a professional with students. And the thing with after-school staff is we have a lot of young, college students. Some are right out of high school, and they're very close in age with the students. And so this allows them to, how to differentiate themselves from the students. It also teaches them classroom management and how to manage their groups. It teaches them also how to call groups to attention, how to line them up, how to, tricks that as a teacher you might kind of take for granted as well. But our after-school staff is not trained, and so they're going to have the skills to really create a quality after-school program without having to yell at the kids, without having to, upset kids just because they're not used to working with students. And so this is a really good opportunity for them. Yes, Ms. Aguilar.
So essentially, it sounds like it's classroom management skills.
It
that
is.
They're learning.
And it's all, Audra White, she does the after-school training, or she does all the training for the San Diego after-school programs. And so if you go to her website, the after-school staff can just log on and sign up for her trainings because she's contracted with the after-school programs in San Diego County. And so we get to bring her down and give the professional development to all of our after-school staff.
And this is paid with ACES and assets money?
Actually, no, this is Title I money.
Title I?
So yes.
Okay. Yeah, because somebody forgot to put the source code on the money being spent, so.
So yeah, it's Title I professional development funds.
Thank you.
One more question. So what would be the difference between having this person doing it and having one of our teachers do it? And the secondary question is, we also have teachers on site as backup for the students, correct?
The difference is that she is used to working in after-school programs. She's familiar with how after-school programs differ from classroom, from the regular classroom. It's a lot more, it's a lot more relaxed, and then she also knows how to work with young staff that doesn't have the preparation that teachers have.
I just want to point out one thing is that you mentioned that some of the staff is maybe right out of high school.
Well, they do have their unit, the necessary units, and so
that would be like they're college students then.
Most of them are at IBC students, yes.
Yeah.
They're still young. They're very young.
Because at one point there was a concerted recruitment from San Diego State students, and we would kind of refer them to the students that are in the teacher education program because they have that background of classroom management. So that might be an also consideration to your future employees. Because then you have students coming in, you have employees coming in that's part of their academic resume.
And we do have quite a few of our staff, they are students, they are in this credentialing programs, but because it's after school, and we also have had several staff members that once they finish their programs and they receive their teaching credentials, they do get teaching positions, so it's a revolving door, constantly moving, and I kind of do look at that and kind of, they do make good employees.
Thank you.
Any more questions or comments? No? Okay, so we have item K3 on the floor. Is there a motion to approve? I move to approve. Is there a second? There's no second, so item dies for lack of second. Item K4, memo of understanding between Calexico School District and the Imperial County Office of Education for professional development for prime candidates.
So this is we have a number of teachers who are participating in the PRIME program. It's through ICOE. And what it is it's a math program, and they've been a part of it all year long. Now it's time for ICOE to actually reimburse our district, and so they need to have a MOU, and what they wanted to do was wait until they found out how many of our teachers completed the program, and I believe we were told that 31 or 32 had initially started the program, and we're actually having 29 complete the program. It's been excellent training for our teachers.
Okay. So we have this on the floor, item K4. Is there a motion to approve?
I do have a question, Mr.
Go ahead.
Can someone explain to me the stipend? I mean, there is a stipend that comes with this proposal, correct?
That is correct.
How does that work?
Once the teachers complete the program, then ICOE reimburses the district for every single one of the employees that complete the program, because it's part of a grant.
So the county will reimburse
Yes,
us?
it's part of a grant. And it was offered throughout the county, and so we were actually very fortunate that we were able to have at least 31 or 32 teachers start their program and 29 actually completing. And they gave a lot of their own time on, evenings and weekends, and so it's been a very...
Oh, it's on weekends?
It's been, yeah, they've had evenings and weekend trainings, and it's been a very, very extensive and over several sessions.
Okay. Any more questions or concerns?
One question, we have enough substitutes lined up?
Most of these are on Saturdays, Ms. Norma.
Oh, okay, got it. Thank you.
Well, that's what I'm saying, it says Saturdays, but it says there that they have.
Well, it's because it said substitutes, that's why I was asking.
Although most of the activities happen during the summer and on Saturdays, there's a commitment from the district to support it for 2 days throughout the year, and those are the days that we're going to require the subs. And so we do have it in our PD calendar to ensure that there's enough subs.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ramirez. Is there a motion to approve item K4?
Motion.
There's a motion by Mr. Calderon. Is there a second? Second. There's a second by Mr. Ortega. No more questions or comments. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Voting in favor, Ms. Aguilar, Ms. Real, Mr. Calderon Jr., Mr. Ortega, and myself, Mr. Calderon. Item K5, memo of understanding between Calexico Unified School District and the Imperial County CELPA for special education internship and stipend for July 5th, 2015 through June 2016. Maria.
And this is a program so that our teachers who are looking to get the certification for, I think, mild to moderate
Okay.
credential, and there's a stipend that's included here, and it's $2,500 per participant.
And it comes from special ed funding?
Yes.
Okay.
How many participants do we currently have that are going to...
Mr. McFadden, how many participants do we have in this currently?
For the SELPA program for Calexico Unified, I think at this point in time that we have 4 individuals, and then every year it kind of it changes. It's similar to the BITSA program that we have for the general education. So we have a couple of teachers that become master teachers for students that are going through special education credentialing program. And again, this is an annual contract that we have, or should be having with the County Office of Education. They work in relationship with San Diego State, and I think the program and the cooperation has been occurring probably 20 years plus, so it's been a very successful program.
Thank you, Mr. McFadden. Any more questions or comments?
No.
Okay, so we have item K5 on the floor. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
There's a motion by Mr. Calderon Jr. Is there a second?
Second.
A second by Ms. Real. If no further comments or questions, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes 5-0. Voting in favor of Ms. Ms. Aguilar, Ms. Real, Mr. Calderon Jr., Mr. Ortega, and myself, Mr. Calderon. Item K6, resolution regarding disposition of surplus assets, non-assets technology, and office furniture equipment.
Motion.
There's a motion by Ms. Aguilar. Is there a second?
Second.
This is second, Mr. Ortega. If no more questions or comments, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Voting in favor are Ms. Aguilar, Ms. Real, Mr. Calderon Jr., Mr. Ortega, and myself, Mr. Calderon. We just lost the internet. Okay. Okay. All right. So that was item K6. Item K7, resolution regarding release from administrative positions of former district employee.
Motion.
There's a motion by Ms. Aguilar. Is there a second? I will second the motion. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Passes 5-0. Voting in favor are Ms. Aguilar, Ms. Real, Mr. Calderon Jr., Mr. Ortega, and myself, Mr. Calderon. Item K8, new course of study at Calexico High School, Navy National Defense Cadet Corps, NNDCC. Ms.
And this is the program that Mrs. Williams from Calexico High School presented to you a meeting or so ago. And we were hoping that the board would approve the course of study for Calexico High School.
So
I have one question. I know she mentioned about it on the last board meeting. The cost is just is it like you said it was like the one-time cost and then eventually it would be funded through them, correct?
Yes, correct. It's a one-time cost for the first year. The second year, it is just like in any instructional setting. The cost would involve replacing uniforms, replacing shoes. So there would be a cost of second year and to sustain the program, but it would be replacing items that they would just be lost or during the first year. If I may add, and hopefully we go in this direction, as some of you know, Mr. Martinez, Calexico High School teacher, has been a great asset in helping me find information and being a great liaison with our local Navy facility. And great news, because of him and his great powers, Calexico High School hopefully will receive a donation of uniforms and shoes pretty soon. If we move forward with the program. He has been able to secure that donation, but as you may imagine, we need to move forward with the program before we receive the donation.
I make a motion to approve.
there's a motion by Ms. Real, and is there a second? Second. A second by Mr. Calderon Jr. If no more comments or questions, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Voting in favor, Ms. Aguilar, Ms. Real, Mr. Calderon Jr., Mr. Ortega, and myself, Mr. Calderon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Item K9, adoption of new job description, district librarian and media care specialist. Mr. Gonzalez? Oh.
No, this is separately, this is like the...
Didn't we already talk about this last week? No? Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Good evening, trustees. What we're bringing is a recommendation for the adoption of a new job description. This is for the district librarian and media care specialist. This is a certificated position. We've been working very closely with ACT to come up with a very comprehensive job description for this particular position. The reason that we are requesting the board to approve this job description is to move forward and have this position available in the district for the following reason. We had an audit performed by the Imperial County Office of Education not too long ago, and it was determined that in our district we don't have a credentialed or certificated librarian. One of the requirements from the state is that districts do have a credentialed librarian. In an effort to make sure that we're in compliance, we want to ensure that we do have a certificated librarian. And so in order to be able to hire this position, we need to ensure that we have a job description. And so that's the reason that we're bringing this job description to the board for approval.
So it'd only be one for the entire district, correct?
That's correct, one for the
And
entire
it's a
district.
requirement, so.
It's
has to be
mandated,
approved.
yes.
Okay. So motion to approve.
There's a motion by Ms. Real. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second by Mr. Ortega. If no more questions or comments, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Who voted in favor? Ms. Aguilar. Ms. Aguilar, Ms. Real, Mr. Calderon Jr., Mr. Ortega, and myself, Mr. Calderon. Item K10, term waiver 2015-2016 and 2016-2017 school years for Alejandro G. Camarillo. Go ahead, Mr. Gonzalez.
So for this one, trustees, we're recommending that the board approve a variable term waiver specifically for the limited English proficiency in order to have our current welding teacher, Mr. Camarillo, be able to continue in his current assignment. Last year, Mr. Camarillo was employed as our welding teacher, and we did bring this specific variable term waiver to allowing him to be able to teach in his current position, specifically to be able to teach students that are LEPs, or limited English proficient students. Since last year, Mr. Camarillo has made great progress in regards to clearing his CTE credential. He is working through the San Diego County Office of Education to get this accomplished. And so in order to have him continue working in his current position as our welding teacher, we bring this back to the board for approval. The reason it's in March is these are not approved fiscal year to fiscal year. So for example, if we request one like we did last year, it was requested in March. And so it's good for a year. And so now we're coming back to March again. So we need to have it renewed. And so that's the reason we're bringing it to the board.
Thank you. Board, do you guys have any questions?
Yes.
Go ahead, Ms. Aguilar.
So, what kind of support are we providing this individual in terms of, is there doing well? There's no issues with classroom management and anything like that, or needing support?
As part of the requirement for Mr. Camarillo to be in the CTE credential program through San Diego State, he is assigned a mentor, and the mentor that he's assigned is one of our assistant principals.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. There's a motion by Mr. Calderon Jr. Is there a second? Second. There's a second by Mr. Ortega. If no more questions or comments, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. 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 Motion passes 5-0. Voting in favor are Ms. Aguilar, Ms. Real, Mr. Calderon Jr., Mr. Ortega, and myself, Mr. Calderon. Item K11, 2015-2016, second interim report. I know you're going to take like 20 minutes.
He said I talk too much. Good evening, trustees. I am here to present the Calexico Unified School District 2015-16 second interim report. So at second interim, what do we do? The district makes assumptions based on spending and on how the year is going to close. This particular report is one of three annual reports. We have the first interim, second interim, and then we have our unaudited actuals / adopted budget. What's a part of the second interim report? Well, the components of our second interim report, we do routine updates in our revenues and expenditures, our multi-year projections, cash flow, inclusive of negotiations, and our ending fund balance. With all of those assumptions, for the current year, we project out through June 30th and then the 2 subsequent years. So let's take a look at what's going on. Okay. So at second interim, this report includes our local control funding formula. This is the third year under the new method of local control funding formula. And as a part of this way of funding, it addresses those students with greater needs. And it shifts away from the use of categorical programs and fundings, although we do have some categorical programs, but it has combined a lot of the ones that other programs that have been swept into the local control funding formula. It focuses greatly on unduplicated percentages of underserved students. In our district, our current ratio at the moment is about 92%, but the district, we budget for 85% to include decreases in attendance and enrollment. So we consistently and conservatively budget at 85% unduplicated. Full implementation of LCFF funding, it's over an 8-year period, and again, we're in year 3, and the way that we're funded is through the gap funding, and it looks at the maximum of what we're going to get, the minimum that we're going to get, and the difference between the two is the gap. And that's when if I refer to gap funding, that's what that is, and I'll explain that a little bit more on the next slide. Okay. So here it is. This is how we're funded for LCFF revenue. If you take a look at 14-15, the target, what we would get if we were fully implemented today is a little over $98 million in 14-15. And I'll just start because that's the first column there. The base or the floor of what we would get is a little bit over $62 million. And then there's the gap between the 62 and the 98. So at a percentage that's designated by the state, we actually received $73 million. So I hope that makes sense. So there's a target. If we were at full implementation of LCFF today, we would have gotten $98 million. However, we're only receiving we only received $73 million in 14-15. The same for 15-16. If we were at full implementation in 15-16 today, we would receive still over $98 million, but we're actually only receiving a little over $86 million. So that, again, that middle in between is the gap. That's the gap funding. Again, target, if we were at full implementation, the floor, the minimum we will ever receive, and the gap is the difference between the two. Next slide. Some second interim highlights. Again, we have this local control funding formula funds as a part of the budget, and it's our main funding source in our budget. We have a slight increase in the gap percentage. It went from our estimation at first interim of 51.52% up to 51.97%. So we're receiving a little bit more in the gap. There was a decrease in the CPI consumer price index factor, and that went down from first interim 2.3% down to 1.9%. What's inclusive in this budget is our grade span adjustment funding. We have some one-time mandated claims. We have one-time teacher effectiveness grant funds. A bonus is that our enrollment has maintained steady. We did have a slight decrease in our ADA, which is our average daily attendance, of about 11. And what that means as far as fiscal impact, that 11 loss in ADA is a loss of about $310,000 worth of revenue, which is why we always encourage our students that every school day counts. So the more you come to school, the more money the district receives. So that's just to demonstrate how important it is for our students to be present in school every day. The ratio of attendance to CalPADS at our fall enrollment is district-wide about 92%. And typically we like to see those up 95 and beyond. So I know that we'll be working on that district-wide so that we can keep our kids in school and receive our maximum amount of funding. We have some one-time emergency repair funds in this budget. We did receive our a little over $2.2 million in Prop 39 energy funds. The district is projecting to have a healthy cash balance throughout the the year, and my projection is that we're going to have a little over $13 million in cash. And it could end up probably closer to 15, but right now my projection is about a little over 13 million. So also, when revenues are updated, these are some of the highlights or some of the different revenues that were updated. In order to accommodate that loss of ADA by 11, our revenue was reduced by this $310,000. The next slide. Okay. The district, again, has had steady enrollment, so we can recoup that, and we hope to recoup that through Saturday school and Saturday academies for making up attendance, and hope to see that and let that reflect when we have our final P2 attendance. The district has included, again, $400,000 in mandated costs. Our revenue for ROP is now a part of the LCFF structure, so it being individually placed in the budget has been removed. Again, the grade span adjustment is included, Prop 39 funds of over $2.2 million, the ERP funds. There was an FPM audit that caused an increase in our contributions. In the grand scheme of things, very minimal in comparison to our budget. We have, again, the one-time educator effectiveness grant, and we received some Microsoft voucher program funds, and that has been a big benefit to our IT department as far as infrastructure, and I know that because I sign all those POs. So I'm happy to report that we did get reimbursed for those funds that were used out of general fund. Also, what's inclusive in this budget for revenues is a decrease of approximately 1% in special education revenue due to the new update from SELPA, and so the district is receiving approximately 1% less than what we were anticipating at first interim. Also, there's a new grant, the CCPT grant, that the district has budgeted for. It's a little over $127,000 as far as the updates in revenue. Secondly, as a part of the second interim, we take a look at all of our expenditures. And we look at teacher salaries, classified salaries, and employee benefits. We look at books and supplies, services and operating expenditures, equipment, capital outlay, and other financing. And we really look in detail, because this is the report that counts. This is the one that goes to the state that really gives a better picture as to how our finances look and if we're going to be qualified, negative, or positive. So I'm going to happily report. And then there's the multi-year projections. So what are the multi-year projections and why are they important? Well, this gives us a snapshot and take a look at today. Are we going to meet our obligations in the current year and the 2 subsequent years? And our minimum is the 3% reserve, which the district will meet that. And it really just gives the board, the superintendent, and the community an idea that we are going to be fiscally okay, that we're not going to go bankrupt in the current year or the 2 subsequent years based on all of the information that's provided by our county office, by the state of California, and budgeted appropriately and properly. It's great to see in the current year and the 2 subsequent years that we will be fiscally solvent. So here's my ending fund balance. Next slide. So our combined ending fund balance projection for 15-16 is that we're going to close the year with a little over $13.3 million in our ending fund balance. And this represents an unrestricted, it represents over 10% in our reserve. So we're still well above the state requirement, which is 3%. We will be fiscally solvent in the current year and the 2 subsequent years. Also, as I previously mentioned, our cash flow will be in excess of $13 million and probably closer to $15 million at year end. So I'm proud to report for the 2015-16 second interim, we will certify positive. So I'm very proud to report that. And I've also already met with our county office and gone over our budget, and all is well. And I'm very proud to report that. And I want to thank my staff for all of their support and their assistance and their hard work to put this document together. So thank you to them, and I'm happy to answer any and all questions.
How often?
general fund, so it's a part of the LCFF funding. However, we do receive some categorical funds through the lottery, and it's restricted to textbooks. So every year we get funding for textbooks.
Okay, so are you taking into account that we're going to have a couple of, well, not a couple, we're going to have, we're going to be buying books for basically everything
Yes, so
in the next couple of years?
I know that there have been some textbook adoptions. So what we've done in the last 2 years is we've written them into the LCAP so that we are making sure that they are inclusive in the budget for those textbooks adoptions.
So whatever the books cost, that's not going to be a problem?
So no, we allocate minimally, I think in this last LCAP for the one series of textbooks, a little over $1.4, $1.5 million for whatever the adoption was. I can't, it was mathematics, so we included in our budget well over $1.4 million for that textbook adoption.
Okay, because I know the hot one is social science.
And that maybe, is that this year, or I think that's next year. So we will write that in the LCAP so that it is clearly a part of that.
Okay. Also, you mentioned that we have a healthy ending balance, and that's nice to hear. However, what happens if the city of Calexico doesn't come through with any money, and we have to fork out the whole bill, well, except for what Senator Wessel gave us, and we have to fork out the rest of the bill?
Excellent question. So my recommendation would be that the district, since there is a goal in our LCAP that focuses specifically on facilities, that I would recommend that we wrote that into our LCAP. And it would be kind of a guarantee, well, because we are, from what I heard and what I understand, that there's going to be a pool come June 1st, which means that there's a lot of construction that's going to happen. So it would need to be written in our LCAP for 15-16. That would be my recommendation. So it doesn't deplete our ending fund balance. And it comes out of our budget for next year.
Okay, because that's over $3 million if the city of Calexico.
4.42, yeah.
So, and that's going to come out of, like you said, out of general fund or?
And the good thing is it's a one-time expense. So even if it has to come that way, it only happens one time because it's the pool will be done, it's over, and we'll move on and we'll continue to vamp up and rebuild our LCAP the way, kind of in the spirit in which we've been moving forward thus far.
Because the pool will be built.
The
It
pool
will be built.
Built, yes.
So,
Yes.
okay. That's it, that's it.
You're sure that we can make up for that 4.4? Because at what it looks, I don't think we're going to get any funding from the city.
Yes, we can, and when the LCAP is presented, so obviously there's going to be some give and take there because it's $4.4 million. So as we make the pool project a priority in the LCAP for next year, then there's going to be some give and take, some other things that may or may not have to be pulled off the table to accommodate that one-time expense, with the understanding that in the subsequent year, that's when those other things will come into play.
Did that also include the gymnasium and the football field?
So that's the one-time dollars that we've been, that $4.6 million of one-time dollars. That's not inclusive in the LCAP. That's already been designated through that $4.2 million, $4.6 million. The gym, Phase 1 and Phase 2. That's the one-time dollar.
So if we, like I said, worst case scenario, if we have to fork out the whole bill, we need to have a plan in case of that happens. And because we need to know ASAP, what is it that we need to do in order to make this work?
You're absolutely right, and that was certainly my conversation and my comments at our last pool committee meeting this past Tuesday, which is why legal is, I'm working with legal to get that letter together so that we can, again, just kind of a letter of intent, a sign of good faith from the city that they are planning on giving us those funds, and the sooner the better would make us all sit a little bit more comfortable and feel a lot better about that and their commitment to funding or assisting with the funding in this project.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
A couple questions. One of the things that you mentioned earlier, that there was a concerted effort to encourage students to attend school because that impacts the money that's generated. what are we doing to reach out to parents to, like how there's, like how there was the literacy campaign and the kids got bikes and things like that. Is there anything similar to that?
I'd like
Reaching
to
out to
believe
parents?
that there certainly is, and I know that probably each school site handles it a little bit differently. The good thing, 11 was bad enough as far as, the loss in ADA for 11, but the goal, I think at every school site is they strive for 95%, and better. So I want to say that they do have those programs and they do incentivize attendance, and I do believe that they do. I don't have the specifics per se, but I know that they do incentivize attendance at the school sites.
Okay. And in the PowerPoint said, if at any time cash flow becomes an issue, the district will temporarily borrow between funds and/or reduce spending. What kind of situation would you say that would create an issue with cash flow?
So if we, for whatever reason, didn't get our apportionment, at which thankfully deferrals are not in play anymore, so that's always a good thing. But we have a lot of projects going on at this time. We have the pool, we have ERP, we have, and those projects are quite extensive. So in the event that, so we'll slow down the payable list. So if we need to ration it out, doesn't mean the project will stop, but we will strategically pay the bill is all. Okay. That's it. That's all that means.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Randall. So that was
Motion
item
to
K.
approve.
There's a item K11, second interim report. There's a motion by Ms. Aguilar. Is there a second? There's a second by Ms. Real. If no more comments or questions, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Voting in favor, Ms. Aguilar, Ms. Real, Mr. Calderon Jr., Mr. Ortega, and myself, Mr. Calderon. Item K12, certificate of employment report. Do we need to add anything to the report, Maria? No? Okay. So is it a motion to approve?
Motion.
There's a motion by Ms. Real.
There's a change on one of them,
There's a
right?
change. What is it?
Certificate or?
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, for the chaperone.
So there's a change for the Comienza un Sueño at UC San Diego. Is Arturo Mayorga in place of Cesar Carreño for, there was an emergency and this counselor cannot attend. So that's the only change. That's why I remember that we had a change. So that's the only change. So is there a motion by Ms. Real? Did you make the motion? Is there a second? Second. There's a second by Mr. Ortega. If no more questions or comments, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Voting in favor are Ms. Aguilar, Ms. Real, Mr. Calderon Jr., Mr. Ortega, and myself, Mr. Calderon. Item K13, classified employment report. Is there a
Motion to approve.
There's a motion by Ms. Aguilar. Is there a second? There's a second by Mr. Calderon Jr. No more questions or comments. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Voting in favor are Ms. Aguilar, Ms. Real, Mr. Calderon Jr., Mr. Ortega, and myself, Mr. Calderon. Item K14, approval to pay the Imperial Irrigation District invoice. This was one of the items that was added at the last minute because we just received it last Tuesday. Do you guys have any questions, or is there a motion to approve?
I have a question.
Okay.
Was this expense already included in our?
I was just going to say that this is all a part of the pool project. So this is inclusive in the pool project, but the board has a resolution that states that any expenditure exceeding $200,000 cannot be made by the superintendent or myself, the designee, and it has to come back as an individual item to the board for approval.
And they just went over the threshold by $1,397.
That is correct. Even if by 1 penny, we have to bring it back to the board.
We have to be clear of that. So report. Is there a motion?
Yeah, motion to approve.
There's a motion by Ms. Real, there's a second by Mr. Calderon Jr. If no more questions or comments, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Voting in favor of Ms. Aguilar, Ms. Real, Mr. Calderon Jr., Mr. Ortega, and myself, Mr. Calderon. Item K15, approval to pay California Commercial Pools pay application number 6. Pay application number 6. Okay.
Same thing, right?
Same thing as part of the approved project? Is there a motion to approve?
This is our actual pool contractor, and this is a part of his contract, the $1.63 million. But this month, for the month of February, their bill exceeded $200,000, so we have to bring it back here for
Okay.
approval.
There's a motion by Ms. Real. Is there a second? There's a second by Mr. Ortega. If no more questions or comments, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Voting in favor of Ms. Aguilar, Ms. Real, Mr. Calderon Jr., Mr. Ortega, and myself, Mr. Calderon. At this point, item L, reconvene to earlier closed session. We're going to reconvene to earlier closed session to work on the items that were not addressed in the previous closed session. We'll be back right before 10:30. Thank you.